Welcome back and hello to Michael Innes and James Graham for an Origin preview for tomorrow night. And who better to have than you two? You ready to rock?
Absolutely, Braith.
Let's do this then, eh?
Yeah, ready to
Nathan
go.
Cleary, how big of a game is it for it?
Yeah, massive. I think, he's been so dominant at club level, it agitates me a fraction, to be honest, that there's the question marks around him at Origin, because I feel like he's been so good at different stages. Like, his dominance at club level at times, like 2 Clive Churchill medals, to do that on grand final is absolutely phenomenal. Like after 26, 27 rounds plus a final series, to then get up and dominate year after year, I just think it's a big occasion. Back at home, a decider. The series, particularly after game 2, where he carried that injury in, didn't execute the way he would have liked to in the first half, was clearly hampered by that leg. Then relentlessly got himself into the mindset that all bets were off in the second half and were able to put on 24 points, I think it was, or 20 odd points. I just think back at home, decider, Cleary, I think he's just going to run the footy, and I think he's going to kick him to death, and he's just going to be so ruthless in how he goes about it, James.
Of course it's a huge game. Like, the NRL public expect a performance from him.
Yeah.
He expects a performance from himself. Every time he takes to the rugby league field, he would have that demand of himself. So, of course, it's a huge game. He knows that he has the ability to affect this game more than arguably anybody out there on that rugby league field. So, yeah, he will have a big game.
Yeah. Frank Panisi, we interviewed him earlier, New South Wales footy manager,
Yep.
and he said that he's fit and ready to go, very positive, had a great week. Now, his kicking game, or the kicking game in game 2, firstly, do you think it hurt them, and how much will it help having a fit Nathan Cleary?
Oh, it's huge. He's obviously agitated the day before the game, which, he comes in, wet conditions, and we completed 10 sets. Yeah, in wet conditions, field position is absolutely paramount, and your kicking game is paramount. We didn't have either. We made errors. I think we had
2 out on the full, I believe, from memory.
Yeah.
And we gave away our greatest assets. Our greatest assets, I think, New South Wales, is our yardage game, particularly our back 5. I think our back 5, in terms of metres, are up there with the greatest, I think, of all time. Like, in terms of the metres, you think of what New South Wales can output in Lomax, To'o, Edwards, when Latrell gets going, when Stephen Crichton get going. Like, they are absolutely elite. And then our kicking game. Like, if we've got an advantage over Queensland, like Nathan's kicking game, is superior, in my opinion, to Dearden and Munster. And we weren't able to get either on because Nathan was hampered with the leg injury, and then we made errors and multiple errors inside our half and gave away that field position. I think it'll be a completely different story tomorrow night.
What effect, or what situation, the Munster situation, will it affect Queensland as a playing group, you think?
Yeah, obviously our thoughts are with the Munster family right now, and it's remarkable that he's playing. But when you're playing big games, there's a lot of time to dwell and stew. And they've had their captain's run today, and there's 24 hours to get through till kick-off. And when you're a player, you do think a lot, and you'd be thinking of him because he shouldn't be there. And in those final moments, we've all played in those big games, and you catch the eye of the big name players usually, and you look and you think about what they're going to bring. You can't let that man down tomorrow. You can't help but be inspired for the game of your life because he shouldn't be there. So of course it's going to affect every single one of those Queensland players. Imagine being in that dressing room and seeing Cameron Munster after the week that he's had. It's going to be huge.
What about Josh Papali'i for Queensland? What does he bring? Does he make their team stronger? Are you looking forward to him joining the team tomorrow night?
As a New South Welshman, Braith, I really don't like this one because I'm good friends with Papa. Spent plenty of time with him in Canberra. I think that the thing about Papa is he walks forward, not backwards. I think that's the thing. He's a man's man. And I saw some vision during the week of Tino. Tino, you could just see he's just in awe of Josh. And Josh, he's the boss. And you can see, there's a couple of elements to this Queensland thing. Yes, what you just touched on, obviously the situation around Cameron Munster, which has been tragic, but also the return of Josh Papali'i. Like Matty John says, you bring an old dog for a hard road, and Kurt Capewell was that for the last game. Well, I think it only amplifies. Like Papa's a bigger presence, and it's exactly what they need coming here up against Payne Haas, who is the best front rower in the game, and who's looking for an enormous performance. He's had a massive series. The Queensland side looks a hell of a lot different with Josh Papali'i in it.
It improves with him in, doesn't it? And that's where New South Wales have targeted. They've made no secret of they've come through the middle.
Absolutely.
Makes Queensland stronger in that segment of the field.
What about, like, there was much talked about our fullback before the series, Ponga, Walsh, Tabuai-Fidow. We've gone for the old dog, down a tough road. What about this young kid at the back?
I'm looking forward to it. Gordy, I think I was at Suncorp 2 weeks ago and he absolutely lit it up. Like 4 tries, he was just dynamic. And then talking to him after the game, me and Lara Pitt were standing there, he's just so infectious. Like, there's a big smile on his face. And we saw the damage that he did. When Suaalii got sent off and they had to make that positional change at Accor Stadium, he ran right, particularly down that left-hand side, until Madge was able to readjust and be able to move Angus Crichton around and Liam Martin around to be able to contain him and his speed out on the edge. But I do think I think he's walking into an ambush tomorrow. I really do. I think New South Wales, and in particular Nathan, and I spoke about his ruthlessness and I doubled down on that. I think there is no one more calculated in our competition and ruthless than Nathan Cleary when he gets his game on. And I think he'll continue to put Hammer into uncomfortable positions. That's what he has to do, and he has to be relentless with it, and I think he will.
He will, Mick. You're right, and the Hammer's going to need to be across that. Obviously, when Ponga went down, Queensland had some options there, and in their coach, I don't know if there was a person on the planet that knows that position better than him. So you would hope that he gets that decision right. And if you imagine being the Hammer and you've got that faith, and look, they will have drilled down into the kicking game of Nathan Cleary. I know I've heard Queenslanders talk and they say it's a focus on us. But you're naive if you don't think that they're going to look to counteract the kicking plan of a Cleary. And that is the positional sense of where the fullback and the back three are.
I agree. I think they'll look at that big time. That's where probably Hammer's is going to be a little bit better. But lastly, Shibasaki, will he be able to handle Stephen Crichton tomorrow night? What do you honestly think?
What are you smiling for, Mick?
I think so much comes back onto our two halves. Like whether it's Nathan on that right-hand side with Stephen Crichton, I hope the block plays disappear, Braith. I really do, because I think if we can get that early ball and just that genuine one-on-one battle, I think Shibasaki is so systematic with his reads defensively that if he can keep Crichton on his inside and jam and unsettle him, I think he'll handle that. But if Nathan can unlock him with some early ball early, I think Crichton can trouble him. The other one we haven't spoken about is Latrell. And there's a big thing on Jerome Luai, who I love Jerome, but I thought he was a little flighty. Early in that first half of that second game, I felt he was left foot, and he was trying to skim back through the middle and bounce through the middle, look for opportunities. When he's had success, Jerome, it's when he's come off that one left foot and just gone direct. And that's what he needs to do early, Braith, or he needs to feed Latrell.
I'm with you.
Because if he can feed Latrell and ignite him early, particularly at home, I think our two centres could be the difference.
It's the fairy tale, isn't it, with Shibasaki, the road that he's been on.
It's a great story.
It's a dream, but his opposing centre is aiming to give him some nightmares. And if, like you say, if Crichton on the outside, and if the Queensland inside players don't work incredibly hard to help him out, he could get exposed.
Thank you, Jimmy. Mick, I've heard if...
Where's your blue shirt tonight?
I know, this is...
What are you talking about?
This is a maroon, isn't it?
I don't know, it's just in wardrobe. What colour is it?
I've heard if the Maroons win, you're going to get the Shibasaki goatee.
I reckon I could grow it in a week, you could do it in a day.
I'll have one by the time I get home. Thank you, boys. Tonight, following NRL 360, it's part 2 of Face to Face with Laurie Dale.